We're in the Pergamon Museum in Berlin, and one of the most astonishing objects they have is, well, it's not an object.
It's a gate for a city. There were 8 double gates that formed part of the walls around the ancient city of Babylon.
It's huge.
It doesn't just impress us, it impressed people when it was built. In fact, it was called one of the wonders of the world.
So Nebuchadnezzar, of biblical fame, ascended to the throne and proceeded to rebuild the already ancient city of Babylon. This is a city that has its roots in the 3rd millennium BC, but had become a major political center under King Hammurabi in the 1700s BCE. The city had remained populated but regained importance in the 6th century under Nebuchadnezzar II and under his father. And what we're seeing here is part of the enormous building campaign that Nebuchadnezzar II had undertaken.
We might recognize Nebuchadnezzar from the Bible, from the book of Daniel. He's the ruler of Babylon who conquers and destroys the temple in Jerusalem and who's responsible for the exile of the Jews.
Clearly he was very powerful. He was able to undertake this enormous building campaign. You know, he fortified and strengthened 11 miles of wall around the city of Babylon. He reconstructed the great ziggurat in Babylon, which had the temple of Marduk at its top and is probably the source of the story of the Tower of Babel. He created palaces, and he created this extraordinary gate.
And hanging gardens, which were also considered one of the wonders of the world. So the city of Babylon had 8 double gates. The one we're looking at is one of those gates, and actually the smaller of the double gate. The other one would have been even larger, if that's possible to imagine.
In fact, so large that the museum can't actually put it on display, even in this very large space. This gate, which of course would only be open for the friendly, is at the end of a long processional way, lined with beautiful lions that speak very clearly of pride, of power, and of Nebuchadnezzar's rule.
The lions that we see on the processional way represent Ishtar, one of the Babylonian goddesses, the goddess of war and wisdom and sexuality.
They're raised up to eye level, and they're a little bit smaller than life size, but they're pretty big.
And they're frightening. Their mouths are open in these ferocious roars.
It's true, they're snarling, aren't they?
They are. But the fact that they're placed in this very regular way makes them seem as though they're almost trained or controlled by King Nebuchadnezzar himself.
It makes us fear not only the lions, but it makes us fear the king. The image of the lion is beautiful. This faience raised to create a kind of relief sculpture. So in addition to the lions, there are 2 other animal forms that decorate the gate, and they're both meant to be as ferocious as the lions. A kind of ancient bull known as an uruk. These were supposed to be terribly fierce. And then alternating with the rows of uruk are a kind of Mesopotamian dragon, which is really a composite beast. The front paws are those of lions. The head and neck come from a snake or serpent. The hind legs come from an eagle.